Me personally, I only plan on fighting for those that are willing to lay their lives down for me. Because my life isn't a game, unlike everybody else's that want to live like a game. And those that want to live within the Matrix, I'm telling you now, you're going to fail every time. Your lives are going to have nothing to show for all of the wasted efforts, and only God knows what else. I'm a realist. I mean, what have I got to prove exactly? What? That I'm the same as everybody else? That I can't think and live for myself? No, I don't think so. Like I said, I'll only fight for those that are willing to lay their life down for me. I'm not fighting for just anybody and everybody that aren't willing to make the sacrifice and take that leap of faith themselves. It's good to have children. Biblically, that is. No children's of the devil. It is good to have children from time to time. But that's not enough. I don't want just children. I want fully grown ass, old, aged souls within the process. And I want people to be real. No game, no bullshit. Just real. Straight up realism. Authenticity. I admire that, and I find that attractive a whole lot more within a person than the bullshit that people try to project onto me 24/7. Because that's all it is. It's bullshit. So why do people have to try and treat my life as though it's a game? What, so I should actually fight for those of you that are living in the Matrix, that choose to not actually, in fact, sacrifice your worldly life for someone like myself? No. No. I'm a firm believer, like I said, in treating those as they treat you. You were quick enough to throw me under the bus. I'm leaving you under the bus. After the world's basically got its claws into you and finished you off, I am leaving you right where you belong. Until the right people show. I would only consider fighting, like I said, in protecting those that aren't scared of the unknown, that don't fear the unknown, that actually are in fact at peace with the unknown, that welcome and accept the unknown in order to develop and strengthen their relationships with God through His Son Jesus Christ via the Holy Spirit. Don't have time for fakery, don't have time for bullshit. And I'm sure as hell not going to fight people that bring it to my life, because, it's bullshit. That's all it is. And I'm not wasting my time. I mean, why should I waste my time in fighting something that I know isn't even real to begin with? Common sense, really, which clearly a lot of people lack nowadays. Time that I could be using to develop and strengthen my friendships and relationships with those that are, like I said, willing to lay down their life for me as much as I would with them. See, this is what the world actually doesn't get nor understands. Did Jesus Christ die on the cross for the whole of humanity? Yes, He did. But the question is, how many of you out there are willing to do the same for Him? How many of you out there are willing to do the same? Not many. Because you're all stuck within your own ways. Like I said, me personally, I'm not even scared of dying. Because like when you reach my age and you begin to understand the real world, you know, in comparison to the bullshit system that we live in now, dying isn't such a bad thing. If it means that we get to live again and make a new home in here and in here. But I only plan on building that home in here and in here, like I said, with people that were by my side throughout thick and thin. Even on the bad days, the ugly days, the days that it was beginning to weigh heavy upon their shoulders, and they still stayed. These are my people. Not people that were quick enough to throw you under the bus and only pop by from time to time with narc smiles and only God knows what else, you know, pretending to be nice, pretending to be good to your face. No, I can see through all of that bullshit. And what's done is done. You will never, in a million years, have a role nor a part in my life after everything. Those, like I said, that were by my side throughout the good days, the bad days, tests, storms, trials, and only God knows what else. Even on the days where they were beginning to carry my weight and whatever it was I was carrying. These are my people. You've proved yourselves. I don't quite have faces, you know, of those that were by my side this whole time. But I'm sure in God's divine timing, He will reveal those of you that were by my side the whole time, that didn't have game, didn't have motive, bad intentions, agendas, and all of this bullshit. Because like I said, you know, in my younger days, like a lot of people, that is, when I was not denial, what's the word I'm looking for? Naive. You know, when I was naive and when I was intellectually underdeveloped and, in other words, a rebel, thinking that I was doing good and I was doing the will of God and all of this bullshit, you know. I thought, you know, it was great, like everybody else does, but when you begin to grow and evolve and age like a fine wine, you see through it all and you think to yourself, why, in God's name, did I waste all of that precious, valuable time trying to be someone or something I'm not, when I could have actually used it in order to rebuild my life from scratch, from nothing, and become the best version of myself within correspondence to the gospel, the 10 Commandments, judgments and statutes, even if it means dying from the moment, you know, I wake up to the moment I go to bed at night. See, the world I live in, I live in a world where people aren't wanting to die because they fear it. What's there to fear about death? Physically, we're going to die. Spiritually and psychologically, we're dying. Either way you look at it. The question is, what are those of you that are going through this going to plan on doing, or should I say, what are you going to plan on doing with whatever time you have left? You know, are you just going to waste it by trying to be someone you're not? By trying to cause spiritual and psychological harm within other people's lives, you know, or to basically get it off your back thinking that, you know, you get to live another day. Wrong. You never will, because it'll still come back to you, folds over later on. The more I understand the world, the more content and happy I am dying to the truth. I would rather die to the truth, knowing that I fought the last fight and I held on to my faith. And for that, and that alone, I get to live an everlasting life. Even if it means a life of pain and suffering a lot of the time, with maybe little hints or waves of joy and happiness and all of these other things here and there in between, so be it. I'll take them as well. But like I said, in order to grow and evolve and age like a fine wine, it's going to be ugly for many people. Because you're going to have to sacrifice your inner child. You're going to have to sacrifice your inner bitches for you boys out there, and for you women, inner men. There's a lot of sacrificing to be made if you want to become the version that the gospel created you to be. And see, this is why I've abandoned so many of my children. Because they think that they can live a double-minded life. They think that they can love me 1 minute and then chat complete and utter shit the next. I don't think so. And the presence of the Lord does not reside within you. When my children are willing to grow and evolve and age like a fine wine and, respect my presence, my boundaries, and appreciate their father, then I will forever abandon you. And trust me, it is going to hurt. And I don't care. I well and truly do not care. My days of caring over people are over. I mean, why should I care for people that are demonically riddled and want me to care anyway? It's all part of their demonic plan. It's all part of their sadistic game. I see through everything of this world. I see through everything involving human psychology. As a matter of fact, when you're red-pilled awakened to the truth, there's no one seeing it, And when you begin to read the biblical manuscripts, even if it's, one passage at a time, or 2 scriptures a day, 3, 4, maybe even 5 or 10 scriptures a day, preferably if it's the whole Bible a day, and then back to, the main chapter again and all of this, you begin to, I guess, admire death, You begin to appreciate it rather than fight it. Because those that are willing to die, whether it be physically or spiritually, for a noble cause, is a reward within itself. Just when you think you've lost everything, and everyone, you've also gained everything and everyone. I say everyone. Those, that stayed by your side, like I said, on the good days, the bad days, the tests, the storms, the trials, even on the days where you were at your lowest point and you were close to pretty much ending it all, I've been there. But I also know deep down within my heart and my mind there were also people that see me through all of that. And these are my people. And I wouldn't even think twice nor hesitate to lay my life down for them. But the world we live in today, it's rare that you see that nowadays. People, like I said, it's all about pride. It's all about ego. It's all about, what can I get? What can, I steal from this person? Or what degenerative act can I do next? And all of this. And it's like, laughable, man. Highly frustrating, especially towards those of us that put in the work, that constantly have our time wasted, and any spiritual and psychological work that we've put in taken as well. All because, those that are doing the take and don't have a life for themselves, and they don't want to build a life for themselves by, accepting the fact that they are their own enemy, and this is what many people refuse to take into consideration. If you can't see yourself as your own enemy, then how do you expect to grow and evolve, age like a fine wine, and become the man or the woman that you were created to be? It's just not going to happen. Common sense, really. And there we have it. So I just do what I do best, get out whatever's on my mind, kind of thing, and whatever's speaking through to me, that is, out on video, in order to help other people that are determined in order to seek the truth, no matter how uncomfortable and threatening it could well be to their illusions, when their lies built upon a lie. And if it could actually help pull people up, out of all of that nonsense, then hey, I'm doing something admirable with my time. And that's good enough for me, even if I'm able to just reach out to one single person, whether it be a man or a woman. That's good enough for me. And if only, like I said, everybody else had this mindset, it'd be a much better place for everyone, where everyone is actually, in fact, understood. But like I said, sacrifices have to be made in order to grow and evolve and age like a fine wine, thus including throwing out childish things. All childish things. And if you children out there are able to do that, you will be blessed. And you will be rewarded folds over for your obedience by taking that leap of faith, which many people are scared in doing. Hence why they stay trapped and enslaved within their childish ways of living, thinking, and living a life, that offers feeling, emotion, and pleasure, only for destruction and death to follow, But like I said, when you take that leap of faith and you are able to put away those childish things in order to grow and evolve and age like a fine wine, you begin to understand life a whole lot better. And you're able to judge the world from a logical perspective. Because you're able to see, you're able to see through the world with a clear mind and a clear heart, But like I said, the more people do childish things and the more people live like a child, the more, miserable and hateful they're going to be towards themselves later on. It's all part of the death and destructive process. In other words, you're dying to whether it be you're in a child or you're in a bitch if you're a boy, like I said, or a man for that matter. Or if you're a woman in a man or in a child. But like I said, my days of helping and dying for people that aren't even willing to do the same for me are over. They're long gone. Jesus may have died for the whole of humanity. Well, there's no may about it. He did die for the whole of humanity, But like I said, I'm not willing to die. For those that aren't willing to do the same for me. If you've experienced spiritual and psychological death somewhere down the line, and you're slowly beginning to understand life for what it really is, then we can talk. But if you've not even experienced one hard day's labour within your life, it's not on the table. It's not up for discussion. Until you've actually faced the things I've faced, sensed the things I've sensed, seen the things I've seen, you will never, and I mean never, in a million years, have that chance to understand me. Cheers. And like I said, it's a wrap.